Welcome to the Dr. April Jasper Show, relevant conversations for business owners of today. We are grateful to have OcuSoft as a sponsor of our show. Since 1986, OcuSoft has served the community with a unique selection of proprietary brands, from dry eye care and protection with Retain line of artificial tears to eyelid hygiene with OcuSoft Lid Scrub eyelid cleansers essential for maintaining healthy eyes. Zoria Skincare from OcuSoft offers revolutionary products for people with sensitive skin and eyes. Thank you to OcuSoft for being the #1 doctor-recommended brand of eyelid cleansers and providing patients and doctors with products and supplies to continue to keep our eyes healthy. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Dr. April Jasper Show. I am in Hawaii, and I am with someone very special, and I just want you to know, Mark, how privileged we are to be here. But this is Mark Martel, and he is a fine artist. He is an illustrator. He is a writer. And my goodness, Mark, what else do you do? This is absolutely incredible.
Oh, thank you. I started out in doing graphic design, worked in advertising.
Okay.
In fact, I went to college studying graphic design because I had no clue as to what I was going to do.
That's okay.
The guy ahead of me in high school, that's the college he went to, so I just followed him to design school.
Wow.
Yeah. And I always had an interest in design, moving words and images around and how they fit together.
Nice.
So got out of there. I didn't...
I think it's really cool, though, Mark, because what happened with me is that David and I were here. So where are we exactly?
Okay, we are in Captain Cook, Hawaii, which is the west coast of the Big Island of Hawaii in the state of Hawaii.
Okay.
And it's confusing because this is an island and a county and within the state, all with the same name.
So that's why I was confused. Now you guys know why I asked Mark where I was.
Yeah.
But we're here for a conference, and David and I got here a day early, 2 days early actually, and we've been driving around the island having a wonderful time. And everywhere I went, y'all, I kept seeing his art. And David was the brave one who said, you know what, you really like this one. And it was a print, Mark. So I was just like, wouldn't it be awesome to have the original? So David called Mark up. He actually, did you email Mark or text him? He texted him, and Mark was amazing because he responded to our text and called us back. And here we are in his studio to talk to him about how this happened. Like, how did you become an artist? So you started down that path.
Yeah.
And then how did you end up in Hawaii?
So out of that graphic design, I had a career in advertising as what's called an art director.
Okay.
Doing design work and a little bit of illustration from time to time,
Right.
And every once in a blue moon, I'd get to write a press release or something, if the typewriter was empty. But the bulk of it was design work, which is brochures, flyers, posters, the occasional billboard, things of that nature. And I got into it a couple years before computers arrived. So we were drawing all this stuff by hand, lettering and sketching out what a photograph might look like in a brochure. So that's kind of the old school.
And were you then starting to think, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life? Or this is not what I want to do. I want to do something different.
I think I was a little unfocused. It just was what I was good at and what I enjoyed the pace of it.
Right.
It was something different every day. Years later, after we moved here, we learned that I probably have something similar to ADHD, So that daily variety kind of masked that. But at any rate, I enjoyed it and worked at several different ad agencies in the Dayton, Ohio area where I'm from.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Went to school in Cincinnati, so kind of still in the state. I had one sojourn kind of down to Florida in your neck of the woods.
Okay.
In the 80s when I was, late 20s, my sister was going to college in St. Augustine at the top end of the state.
It's beautiful there.
Yeah. So I went down and was kind of a beach bum for a couple months and bumped around. And one Sunday I went out and bought the Miami Herald and went through the classifieds, and I answered an ad, and I got to drive all the way down to the Miami area to interview for this job in the Caribbean.
Oh my goodness.
Drove back to St. Augustine, didn't hear anything for a couple months, and then suddenly, can you be down here next week? So
Wow.
I ended up working 6 months in the Cayman Islands
Oh.
on a kind of weekly newspaper,
Wow.
cut and paste and doing ads, and just it was a neat experience. And that's part of probably what led me to being here in Hawaii, because I really enjoyed it, being in the water, going snorkeling, the whole vibe of being on the island. So then I boomeranged back to Ohio, more ad agency work, led to freelancing, bouncing back and forth. And then around 2007, 8, I got laid off and got into freelancing on the internet. And then I was able to shift over from doing design work to illustration, which was really something I loved quite a bit.
Yeah.
You're maybe on the edge of it, but when I was growing up, there was illustration everywhere in magazines, newspapers, record album covers before they became CDs. They were giant things with illustrated images all over them.
I miss that.
I do. I really do too. So, and then in my design career, as computers came along, they started changing everything from typesetting on up to the images.
Incredible.
So when I was doing everything by computer, I started missing working with my hands.
Oh.
And I started going to night school, doing art sessions, life drawings, things like that. So that let me kind of do a little R&D, experimenting, trying different colors, paints, media, whatever, weeks a week. And then around early mid-2000s, my wife Kate had a girlfriend that was getting married for the first time in Hawaii. And we were living in Ohio.
Right.
And Kate said, we got to go. Grace is 50. It's the first time she's ever done this. So we came out here and we got married on the same trip. Grace had they had a great big event, and we just did a.
You might as well.
Yeah.
I love that.
Tagged along.
Very cost effective.
Yeah. That led to us getting to house sit for them a year or so later, and repeated trips. And at one point, Kate just started watching Zillow, that real estate website.
Yes. You're in trouble now.
Yeah. We had the opportunity, and we moved here in our mid-50s when we still were young enough to really get some roots in the community.
About our age, Dave, by the way. Okay.
I recommend that because Kate continued working. She's a nurse, and she had worked in all kinds of different parts of nursing.
Right.
And she was now working in hospice.
Wow.
So when she worked here, she was on call, staying out of the office politics, but she could go to somebody's house in the evening or day and kind of problem solve.
Exactly.
And
That's
her
amazing.
backlog of experience, she could do a lot of different things.
But now what was Mark going to do?
Well, I was weed whacking, trying to control the property here.
It is pretty, by the way, you guys. Yeah. It's a beautiful area.
Yeah. But Hawaii was also, it's a medium market for artwork. People that come here, they want something to remember their trip from.
Yes.
And people that live here, they want to learn to paint, or they want to follow that hobby that they had years ago, or they want to do more of what they've been doing. So I kind of morphed over from illustration design to fine art. And there was a learning curve to that. I would do paintings I thought were just killer, and then I'd have others I wasn't so sure about, but I'd put them up there. And the feedback from people, either buying prints or originals, you just never knew.
Right.
So that was really eye-opening to me, and I've gotten to where I do a lot of prints of my, I do cards and prints, a couple sizes, and originals, and you can just about plot it on a curve. The little tiny items are the ones that are going to sell a lot, and it goes down and down, and every now and then you get a great commission to do a piece of artwork or sell an original. This is the time of year that can happen too, because we're in our busy season.
Right. Well, people don't know what they're missing if they don't see what you have going on. And I will tell everyone, Mark, the one thing that really stood out to me, I felt like I feel like when I look at your art, that it's not just beautiful, but it tells a story. I don't know. Does all art tell a story?
It might. One of my influences goes to comic books. But a lot of art has a narrative component, telling a story. And that goes all the way back to the cave days, probably. But I think that is part of my background. I've always, you may know the Beatles song "Paperback Writer." I got a little bit of that in the background there too. So
I think it's amazing. So when did you then? Well, where did it start? So you started to tell us that it was a learning curve. Go on from there.
So I've just gone around the island, gotten my work into different art galleries. You get different feedback. Every gallery owner or people, they have a different concept of what works for them.
Right.
They may want more artwork strictly about their part of the island.
Okay.
Like over in volcanoes, you're up at a high elevation with the volcano, and there's certain native birds that are up in that elevation, the plants. Anyhow, that's one direction. Another art gallery may want you to be very consistent and have one style for all your stuff. That's not me.
I love that about you.
Yeah. And it used to be that I would just bounce from one painting to another, and you never knew what style was going to come out. And for me, it was just reacting to the conditions of the moment.
Right.
Even down to what's the humidity.
Right.
Is the sun shining? Because my watercolors or whatever, they're going to dry differently.
Okay.
Or it might be a mood or whatever have you. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And maybe it's aging or something else, but I'm getting better at channeling it and kind of exploring the same concept deeper, or doing variations on a theme, which is.
You want to tell us what you got going on?
Yeah.
Is this a good time?
It's good. So
go ahead, tell them the story.
You and Dave were going around looking, and you found one of my pieces, a print. You were interested in that, so you called me up, and we talked about doing a new painting in that series.
Yeah, show us what it is.
Okay, let me pull this out here.
And you guys can't have it. You can't have mine, but you can call Mark, and he'll paint one for you. So go ahead, Mark. Show him what I love.
So here's a print of. I've got a little bit of a. Maybe you can hold it smoother.
Oh yeah.
This is a scene that has happened over and over through Hawaiian history. Essentially, in different components. But what's happening here on this side, the volcano is erupting, and the lava is flowing down into the ocean, and it's driving people from their village to escape out to sea. There's stories here, there's living people on the island that have lived through different eruptions, and they just had to run to get out of the pathway. We're on the steeper side of the island, and the lava flows faster here, so that's a concern. Something that happens geologically when there's a volcanic eruption is you'll have an earthquake along with that as well. And if you've got water nearby, then you're going to have a tsunami, perhaps. So
I've seen the tsunami warning signs around.
Right, yeah. We're sitting right above Kealakekua Bay, and back in 2011 or so, there was that Fukushima earthquake that happened in Japan. And the waves from that came all the way across the ocean and hit just a slice of the bay that was not shielded by other parts of the island, and took out several houses.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
that's the waves?
Even today, that's happening, yeah. In 1960, a big quake happened in Chile, in South America, the other side of the Pacific, and did kind of a bank shot off the northern part of this island and hit downtown Hilo.
Oh my gosh.
So if you're traveling over there and you see downtown Hilo, that's all parkland today. They're not going to develop that because they know it could happen again.
Oh my. I had no idea.
Yeah. So that's one version of the painting I've done. Let me take this off.
It's incredible too, because the color is so vibrant. It's so beautiful. I don't even know how do you choose the colors even, but keep going.
Okay. Here's a vertical version of that I did just this past year as a commission. And I think you've seen, I did a study of it smaller and then about a 3-foot commission.
Yes. Wow.
What's going on here in composition wise, there's a lot of curves and spirals and things happening. But in repainting this and bringing more stuff down to the bottom of the painting, I had to add some lava flowing into the ocean, and that made me realize there's a whole another part of that story where there's new land forming from these eruptions.
Right.
And the steam is coming off that hot lava.
Wow.
So this traces back to a couple famous pieces of artwork from the 1800s.
I wish we could poll the audience and say, what do you think it traces back to?
Yeah, that's great. And what's your interpretation of it? That's the great thing about artwork is you can always interpret what you see or feel about it. You know, in the 1800s, Japan opened up kind of by force to the outside world. So by the time Van Gogh was starting to paint, Japanese prints were flooding Europe, especially Paris. And if you go look through a book of Van Gogh paintings, in the background, he's got Japanese prints there. It's even by the artist that did this, the famous painting, The Great Wave of Kanagawa, I think it is. And in the background of that painting is Mount Fuji, the volcanic mountain in Japan.
Oh.
And in the foreground of his painting, there are these little tiny boats with fishermen on it.
Oh my gosh.
So I took that story, that Japanese story with the fishermen being threatened by this great wave hitting, and then combined it with Van Gogh's Starry Night, which apparently Van Gogh was influenced by that exact painting.
Wow.
And just putting those two images together created a Hawaiian story.
Yep.
And it's just the mashup of the things.
It is absolutely beautiful. And what is the name of this?
I call it The Great Night Wave.
Okay.
And
colors are amazing. And just the story again that it tells. I love that. So the people that are fleeing, they're fleeing the island. That's what those boats are?
Yeah, they're fleeing the eruption. So people on the mainland will hear about, we have these lava eruptions, volcanic eruptions, and they think we're being devastated. This is a large island, and the eruptions only happen in a small part of that. So if you had something like this happen, you'd either try to get out of the way, go down to the ocean, or go one side or the other.
Right.
So that would be the story here.
Wow.
The ancient Hawaiians divided up their real estate in these pie slices of the island, partly for that reason, and partly so everyone had kind of at least a shot at the same sort of resources, from fish in the ocean to plants you could grow in the low elevations on up to the timber, the big trees up in this area.
Wow.
So that's another part of the story.
So now what actually happens? What's the process of painting?
All right. I've sketched out, let me turn this around for a second.
Okay. So you guys have to see what Mark is up to. He's going to show us how this works. And it's great for me to see because I have no clue. Okay. I appreciate art and I love it, but that's about as far as it goes for me, Mark.
So this is a canvas I've measured, so it's got a couple extra inches on the sides here. And what we're going to do when I'm done with it, I'll be able to roll it up and mail it to you in Florida. It's a lot cheaper than having a big crate to travel. So I've drawn kind of a border where roughly the edge of the painting will go. And then, I don't know if you can even see at this stage, but I've sketched in kind of these big curves.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. And one curve is just kind of starts out as a semicircle, and then it spirals in. And maybe there's the wave coming in, and it's a series of curves really, just composition-wise. And then the volcano is back over here, and the eruption's coming right out of that curve, and that's jetting up into the sky, where there's like maybe the moon, a couple stars, and this will be a series of all these kind of Van Gogh-y blobs of color.
I love it.
The wave has a lot of different fingers, almost like hands reaching down. And for those of you that kind of on the technical side, a lot of your...
Yeah, they will be.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you guys have probably heard the term fractal.
Yes.
Fractional dimension. And that's used in a lot of different ways. This guy was kind of anticipating the sense of fractal because you got these big shapes that resemble these smaller shapes that resemble even smaller shapes.
Oh my goodness.
So that's going on in the wave. And then parts of the wave. And then there's boats that are sticking up through here and down here and maybe over here. And then here's our land with a little village. And maybe a hint of the horizon there or some hills. And then coming down here will be lava flowing, curling around and cooling, so some steam coming up perhaps.
So you sketch it out first and then you paint?
That's one way to do it. One thing I've thought about, I want to try to get into teaching, as you were talking about earlier, at these different stages of life. In fact, this morning I had a teaching gig at a coffee farm doing a little, what we call a painted sip. So I guided some people through doing a quick hour and a half 8x10 painting.
Wow.
What was I saying?
I was asking, well, basically what I don't even know how it works. So I was basically saying you start with a sketch,
right,
and then what comes next?
So one thing I want to try to learn to teach people, and I'm kind of learning to teach through these paint and sips, is the process of doing artwork in different styles. Because that may be my gift. I can go in a lot of different directions. Yeah. And I think I understand a little bit of it. I've got a little acronym about mastery. You start out with your medium, the paint or pastel or whatever you're working with, the way you're going to apply it. That's the A.
Yep.
The S is the surface that you're going to work on. So already, if I take a big mushy watercolor brush and I put a wet, thin paint on a piece of paper, it's going to look totally different than if I take a big glob of oil paint with a big bristle brush and put it into a really rough surface canvas.
Right.
Okay. So
that's your surface.
Okay. That's the MAS. What's the rest of it? What are you thinking about?
Teach.
What's your concept behind this?
The thought process.
Yeah. And is there some emotional component to that?
Wow.
And then the R is, the best I come up with is a recipe.
That's good.
It's your process. Because you're asking, do I draw it first or last or something else? The process is what you can vary quite a bit.
Wow.
Just by, sometimes I'll just do the color, and that'll just give me indications of hints of what's going on there, and then I can draw that out. Sometimes you can put down a totally random surface, and that'll suggest things, and then you can pull things out. Or you have a very clear idea, and you're trying to follow that. And
then the why.
You're unique.
I love that.
Everyone's gonna, if you follow everything else the same way, they're still going to come out completely different.
Yep.
These paint and sips that I'm doing, I may have up to 6 or 7 people doing a sunset scene or a flower.
Right.
And every one of them has this fingerprint individuality to it.
Yep.
Yeah. So
that's incredible.
That's what I'm like getting off on.
So here, there's something else I noticed, and it's funny because both of my children are the same, and maybe it was just because you were holding the microphone. Mm-hmm. Are you left-handed?
I am, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
How many artists are left-handed?
I think a larger percentage than normal, but not all.
Does it mean anything? I don't know. It's funny because Allison, my daughter, our daughter, she was at school today, and she said that one of her teachers, her optometry teachers, said, I don't understand. Your mom's an optometrist, and she let you be a left-handed person?
That's interesting. I was reading up on that recently, and worldwide, I think it's 85 or 90% of people are right-handed.
Wow.
Why is a question. But the variation from country to country seems to be cultural. If you're taught where you have to use your right hand,
then you will.
If you're punished, you will. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know about your daughter. There's probably left-handed scissors at home, and
yes.
I had to use a lot of right-handed things, and there's still things in the world that are strictly right-handed.
Does it change your art? I mean, it just makes it you. The why, right?
Yeah. I don't know about that, but like back in the 70s, there were researchers thinking about how the brain works, and you've got a right side and a left side, and one's verbal and one's this. Apparently, it's much more complicated than that. And left-handers they tend to be flipped in the way that the hemispheres work,
Right.
but not always. And then you get people that are ambidextrous.
Right. That's
And
my dad.
So 4 or 5 years ago, I was working out here. We've got a kind of a steep driveway, and I had not gotten around to power washing the stuff off the surface of it. And I slipped, and I dislocated my elbow.
Oh.
My drawing
Your
hand.
left.
Yeah, yeah. And luckily somebody was coming through the gate and anyhow, got it straightened
Oh,
out.
my
But
gosh.
I had several months where I just couldn't use that arm. And it just forced me to learn to do a lot of things with my right, which a lot of people do temporarily.
Wait a minute. Is there any art back here that you did with your right hand?
No, not really.
Oh, that
No.
would have been cool.
Yeah, yeah.
But I can imagine it was a little stressful for you.
Yeah, it is. But after college, I spent about 6 months painting houses. And, for me at least, I could do big, large motor skill stuff easily.
Right.
So you got a great big power 4-inch painting brush.
Right.
You're way up on a ladder, and you don't want to walk down and go back up to scoot over. So you just learn to transfer the brush to the other hand.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So I do want to know a little bit. Well, first of all, Mark, is there
Yeah.
anything else you want to tell us about this one? And then I want you to talk to me about what you have behind you here on the table too.
Yeah. I think we've covered that pretty well.
It's going to be amazing. Wait till you guys see it. I promise I'll let you see it when it's done.
I'll
But
just put
honestly,
a quick little
they
plug.
can get their own in. They can order their own, right?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah.
Yes, tell us about the
Okay.
book.
This is the third time I've done this book, and it keeps getting a little bit bigger and more stuff. But to go back to my ADHD, whatever, working in many different styles, that gave me a way to channel that or harness that a little bit. So by doing, I got into what's called doing master studies, where you repaint a painting by some great master and just learn about how they did it. What colors they used, brushes, different things about that.
And the name of the book is If the Masters Painted Hawaii.
Right.
How Picasso, Van Gogh, Warhol, and others might have pictured Hawaii, and Mark wrote the book. And there's illustrations in here too of his art.
Right.
It's amazing. Yeah.
So I took these master paintings and I just did a Hawaiian take on that. And that's kind of how this Great Night Wave came about.
The one I love so much.
Yeah.
Anything else on there you want to talk about?
No, that's all right.
Okay. So what do you have back here?
Okay, I've got a little bit things about my process. One of the questions that people always ask is, where do you get your ideas?
Yes.
So I think sometimes people, if they're don't work in a field or they don't do something all the time, they get a bright idea and they think, oh, this is my idea, and they treasure that and they cherish it, but if you're doing it all the time, you have 10 ideas a day.
Right.
And you just discard the ones that you think, oh, I can't do that because of this or that, or I don't feel like it, whatever. So I've got just sketchbooks of clippings that I've pulled out of magazines or photos I've taken, or, this is fun. There's a telephone pole nearby where people just nailed up their slippers. They're what we call slippers. They're flip-flops.
We call them flip-flops.
Yeah, the Jimmy Buffett flip-flops. And I haven't painted that, and they've all faded in reality, but that would be a cool
That
image.
would be. I agree.
There's someone else here that down in the Kealakekua Bay, there's a lot of fishing floats and gear that wash up ashore, and they just hang it on their palm tree.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's got to be a tree.
Yeah, it looks almost like a Christmas tree.
Wow.
So the different ideas come from there. Sometimes,
I love that one. The colors are so beautiful.
yeah, this is kind of a typical Hawaiian fantasy landscape, and it's got it's got the sunset, the waves, palm trees. You'll see variations on this throughout the islands, and that's one of the paintings I do with the class.
Oh, that's good.
Boy, I sound like somebody promoting something.
What is that one?
This, at the end of the class, I got this paint left over, and I just try to glop it on somehow or another. You'll see scenes like this on these steep hillsides that have gigantic, 50-foot palm trees on them,
We did
waterfalls and such.
Yeah. And the sky is almost always that beautiful.
It can be, yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And what's unique to this island to me, Mark, is there's what do you call is it lava stone? What is it called everywhere?
Lava rock seems
Lava
to be
rock.
what is called more often. There's a couple of varieties of it by the consistency. the really deep, dense stuff is what the ancient Hawaiians would make their tools from. It was like a variety of basalt. And there's a quarry way up on the top of one of the peaks where it came from. There's also real crumbly pohoihoi lava. There's which is just like it sounds, like you don't want to step on that.
Oh.
Speaking of
yes,
optics and lava, when I'm out weed whacking, you get sweaty and I have to keep wiping my glasses off and, get them on me. I scratched my glasses recently.
Uh-oh. And
the reason that's hard here is because this is brand new rock. It hasn't had millions of years to erode and smooth out. So it can be much more, what's the word?
I'm seeing the scratch. Is it on there still?
Yeah, it's straight across there. So I've got
no.
an appointment coming up in a couple of weeks, so I'm just going to.
Well, you do know somebody now, so maybe I can help you as well. But the lava rock is what the problem is? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It's sharp, so it scratches your glasses
so if
easy.
I had a little grit on my T-shirt. Yeah. And I tried to.
Did he try to clean his glasses with his T-shirt? Is that what you're telling me, Mark? Do not ever do that.
Yeah.
Especially in Hawaii on the Big Island.
But the trouble is I don't have any eyebrows, so there's nothing to stop the sweat coming down.
Most people don't know that's what eyebrows do, so they're learning a lot on this show. Yeah, they also keep the dirt from getting in your eyes sometimes. So, okay. That is an issue. We got to wear a headband or a hat, Mark.
Yeah.
Pretend I'm your dermatologist now.
Okay. We got a segue now here.
Okay, go ahead.
Famous artists with eye problems.
Yes. Who are they? And why? What does it matter? Tell me more.
So this is really famous artists.
Okay.
Okay. Monet, who'd painted all his water lilies. He developed cataracts.
Okay.
And his paintings started to get more and more yellow or reddish because he was seeing that color.
Which ones? Is there a time frame that
just later in his career.
Okay.
But they have this lovely glow to them too.
Yes.
Edward Degas, who's known for his ballet dancers and such, he was an oil painter originally, and he started to develop retinal eye disease.
Okay.
Whatever that is.
I don't know what it was, but we'll look it up.
Okay. So he switched media. He started doing sculpture, and he started working in pastel. And his pastels are what he's really famous for.
There was a show right now, actually, in Palm Beach. We took our family there, and they're showing all of his art right now. And I did know that. Yeah. I feel bad. I forgot about that.
The other thing about the pastels is that's a color that can fade. So often they're displayed in really controlled lighting conditions.
Yep. Wow. I did not know that.
And it's a rougher medium generally because you're working on a rough paper, and pastel artists tend not to get really detailed.
Right.
So it works. It's just a way of adapting.
Sure.
Van Gogh, we know he had some issues. His paint, he would lick his brush to get a point, and he might have been picking up some toxins.
Oh my gosh.
And then he was also in mental institutions, I think taking different medications. There's a lot of different theories about him.
Right.
Even the great Rembrandt, people think of him as maybe one of the best painters ever. Apparently he had stereo blindness over time. And he painted all this whole long series of self-portraits over the years, like every year almost. And you can see his eyes don't quite match up.
Right.
So, but to compensate, he started building in a lot of extra depth and 3D effects into his painting.
Wow.
So there was just these ways that people compensated by changing their style or working for memory or changing media, whatever.
So Mark and I were talking about this before we started recording, and I told him what it makes me think of is how so many times challenges or even obstacles in our life that seem like they are the end or the worst thing that ever happened can turn into something absolutely incredible and amazing, as you can see with these artists and how their art changed, and they continued to just adapt. Yeah. And it worked out. Yeah. Okay.
I've known a couple artists here that had cataracts, and after they had their surgery, that their color sense changed.
Wow. So talk to me about, as we kind of come to a close, talk to me about optometrists, people in the profession of eyes, anything that you can tell us about it, colors, what you do, how do you choose colors? I mean, all of this is so interesting to me.
there's some science behind it, and of course art behind it.
Right.
Let me pull something up.
Oh yeah.
Look, when we moved here, I'm from Ohio originally, Dayton, Ohio, which is kind of the Midwest, and there's a different light there. As people,
Right.
you hear people talk about the light in different places around the world that they've traveled. When I moved here, I had to get brighter colors because I had never dealt with some of these.
Wow.
So I can even show you on the color chart here, the yellowish, the greenish yellows, the lemon yellow, that area, and then the really pure turquoise cyan colors, and kind of down here, and some of these. The other aspect of that was I was worried about my artwork fading here.
Oh.
One of the mediums I've worked in is what's called gouache, and it's a variety of watercolor. It's like tempera paint or poster paint.
Okay.
So it's a water-based paint that has some chalk in it, and great for illustration and doing stuff. But I learned that some of my work was fading, so I had to stop doing it on paper, stop using that medium, and move more to acrylics. About the first year we were here, I did this chart so I could expose my acrylic paints. I painted 3 swatches of each of these colors, and I put one on this board and one on a chart in the studio here, and one in a book. So the one in the book, they got absolutely no light.
Right.
The one in the studio got kind of secondary, whatever you call it, reflected light.
Sure.
And the one on the wall outside got this strong tropical light,
You're a scientist as well as an artist, apparently.
My dad's an engineer, and I've got a little bit of that
See?
going on.
Oh my gosh.
So
what did you find out?
all right. The only things that faded were these fluorescent colors. And we know that they tend to fade. But what I was surprised about was that it took about a year before they really started to show any change. But you can see some of these are almost completely white.
Wow.
But there's some cool effects you can get with them. So sometimes there's a trade-off there. You want a really incredible painting that'll last a year, and then maybe underneath that is a less vibrant color to make up for it. I don't know.
So 2 of the ones behind us that I think are unbelievable. Well, everything's beautiful. I told David he's going to have to get me out of here as fast as possible because I might go home with a few more. This one over here, Mark, what is that?
All right.
And you guys, if you can't see it, you'll have to just look it up on the website once he tells you the name.
Okay. So right now we're in January of 2026.
Okay.
And Kilauea, our most active volcano, has been going off every week to 10 days since last December, since December of 2024.
Wow.
So just over a year. And it's in the other side of the island and over time, those eruptions have been getting higher and higher. We have no idea where it's going to go, if it's going to stop or keep getting higher. The crater is 5 miles across, and it's really hard to get a sense of how big that is when you're there even.
Wow.
But you can drive around and look at it. But people have been spotting birds flying seemingly right in front of the eruption. In reality, they're probably a couple miles away.
Right.
But still, there's heat updrafts from that air going. So they're
and what kind of birds are they?
These are white-tailed tropic birds. There's also the Hawaiian goose called the nene that has been spotted flying, and they don't tend to fly that much, but they're flying. The tropic birds will nest in cliff sides.
Oh,
so,
okay.
It could be the cliff facing the ocean or on the side of a volcano.
Wow. That's incredible. What a sight. Now, do you feel like, did you take a picture and then you painted it from a photograph, or you just remembered that from seeing it?
We've been over 4 times to catch the eruptions, and we got it 3 times.
Wow.
So that's something else I was going to talk about. When you're doing art, sometimes you have to work from reference, a photograph you've taken, or sometimes I do plein air work, which is working from life. You go outside and paint landscapes.
Right.
And the third side of that tripod would be your imagination.
Yes.
So sometimes you have a strong image, or anyhow, if you can balance out those 3, and every time is going to be a different mixture, but it's kind of a tripod. So this is basically from remembering the eruptions when we went over there, and then following it week to week. You can see it on live streams.
Right.
And a couple times there've been these two different jets going off, and it just made me think of birds' wings somehow. And
Wow.
That's not.
It's beautiful.
It's kind of a cliche idea, but anyhow.
No, I love it. All right, so
that's what I see in it, but somebody else could see something else.
It's amazing. Yeah. How about this guy right here?
Okay, I mentioned gouache. This is gouache.
Oh.
It's applied very thinly, but if I would have, that's one reason it's not in the frame. It's not for sale, because I know some of these colors are going to fade over time, and it's going to be probably the yellows, what have you.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And those are birds that are found here?
Yeah, these are saffron finches. They're not native, but they're really really neat birds. You almost always see them in groups of 2 or more. That's how they hang out.
And the little crack in the
Yeah.
ground, what is that?
Yeah, I thought that because
is that lava rock I'm looking at?
Yeah, so this would be lava right on the shoreline.
Yeah.
And because they are in these long-term relationships, that made me think of other types of relationships, and they're bonded, but they're still going to have some issues over time. So it's
not David and I, Mark, never.
No.
Maybe we need to take that one home to remind us that we're together forever. I love it.
Yeah.
What about this one?
This is plein air here, and this is kind of my setup when I go out. Everyone has their own setup, but it's a little expandable tripod, and I've got this in a backpack, and I can move around pretty easily. Water and something to have my little palette clipped onto it.
Beautiful.
One of the things that people do when they come here, I try to encourage, even just traveling, doing some sort of artwork or journaling or writing about it, writing a poem. It's a great way to remember your travels and your experiences.
Wow.
So when we travel, I try to take a little sketchbook.
Oh,
and this will fit right into my cargo shorts, right?
Right.
I've taken a bigger one and just chopped it down.
Oh my gosh.
So it'll fit. This was a trip we took to Switzerland several years back. But I did all kinds of stuff. This is a sketch of different ways you can turn on the hot and cold water.
Oh, I love it. That is brilliant.
And it's just amazing how I keep finding more ways that,
That's one of our pet peeves when we go to hotels and they've come up with a fancy way and I don't know how to do it.
Yeah. I think it's part of the experience. But then
you've actually painted in there.
Yeah. This is the Eiger in Switzerland.
Oh, wow. How long did that take you?
That's maybe 45 minutes or an hour. And this is the Geiger sanction, which is, the alien climbing the mountain. So.
Oh, my gosh.
So that's
good.
And sometimes paintings will come out of sketchbooks. In fact, the birds might have come out of a sketchbook. And, if something really clicks, that just becomes a finished piece of art.
And you also do, so the one thing I did see on your website is if somebody wants you to do, is it called a portrait or?
Yeah, portraits.
Okay.
There's main categories of painting. There's portraits, landscape, still life.
Okay.
One or two other things maybe, but those are the big categories. In fact, we call our paper sizes portrait or landscape.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
There you go.
So a portrait is a challenge to get a likeness, but I've got various tricks that I can employ to try to get 75% of the time a portrait. Doing a double portrait, then you're risking more higher odds there. But sometimes I've done that. So every now and then I get a commission to do a portrait or an original piece of art. I've got a niece that's getting married in a few months, and our Christmas card I've got a little note to her saying, I'd love to do a painting for you. Why don't you guys think about what you would like,
Wow.
What size, what subject, if you even want a piece of art, and maybe you don't.
Of course she does.
Yeah.
She does. Yeah. She's just going to have a hard time probably deciding.
Yeah.
But I would tell her, if you're listening, you'll have to decide soon, because we're going to get Mark so busy that he's not going to have time for you. Mark, this is amazing. The place is beautiful. Your wife, I think you said, makes jams and marmalades.
Yeah. Kate, she's a great cook and gardener, and there's an abundance of things growing here, and she hates to see all that food waste. And Hawaii imports 90% of its food. So
Wow.
jams and marmalades are not necessarily essential nutrition, but still, it's something that
Makes everything taste better.
yeah, it does. Yeah, yeah.
She's amazing. I can tell just in the few minutes I had to talk to her what a wonderful person she is. And you two are just incredible together. You think you'll stay in Hawaii?
Probably so. We've we got a lease on the place, and we're really enjoying it, and it keeps us active. Maybe too active, but we're
no more falling and messing up your elbow, please.
No.
We need you to keep painting.
It's just a series of transitions in life, where you find something new.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 dogs, 2 cats, a beautiful place that you can take care of yourself, and all this art. I think it's amazing. Anything you would like to add and tell the listeners? We're not just eye doctors. We're people, and we love art. And I think, as I told Mark when David called him up and we talked about what I wanted you to do for us, I said, oh my gosh, we got to talk to you because you have such a gift, such inspiration to so many people.
I think we were talking earlier, Kate was talking about she's picked up the flute after 45 years.
Yep.
I'm watching YouTube painting demos. You can learn so much in so many new ways here, anywhere in the world. And your goal doesn't have to be the best in the world. It may just to express yourself or, doing art can de-stress you.
Right.
And
We
just
need
change
that.
the quality of life. So she's been out in her career saving lives, and I'm doing art.
Saving lives.
But she says, that has some value in the world too. So
It does.
I'll
You
go with
two
that.
are awesome. Thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you, April.
Mark, how do people find you? I think it was Mark Martel. Tell them more.
Yeah, my website is markmartel.com. Martel is the last name, and Mark,
Okay.
markmartel.com.
And he will answer your call. He's incredible. He reached out to us, and here we are. And forever, everyone's life will be changed for the better.
Just remember the time change.
That's right. Oh my gosh. It is 5-hour time difference for me from home. So right now, let's see, it's 5:52. That means it's 10:52 in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Yeah.
So when you call Mark, be careful. Don't wake him up at 3 a.m.
Don't worry about that because, our technology will take care of that these days.
Okay,
right?
there you go. Never mind. Just call him. Thank you, Mark. We appreciate you.
Thank
and
you.
I can't wait to get mine, and we'll post a picture when we do.
All right. So have you learned your shaka?
No.
Okay. It took me a couple years,
Let's
but
do
it's this
Which
symbol.
hand? Does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's the first and last finger.
Okay.
Okay. So it's got a general purpose. It's like, take care, thank you, you're great.
Okay.
Appreciate
so you
it.
do it as a goodbye?
Well, as a greeting. Yeah.
As a greeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My shaka.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And people do them every different way you can think of.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So
Yeah.
there isn't a bad way?
No.
Okay.
No.
And if he's not telling me the truth, I'll find out. Thank you guys for listening. I know you're going to enjoy this one, and I know you have, but make sure if you're listening and not looking, you jump on YouTube so that you can see what we've been showing you. But we love you. Thanks for being here, and thank you, Mark.
Mahalo.